Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever in the world you are. You're probably hodling. If you're in some other trade rooms, you're probably hodling with 20 long calls. You're probably hodling while everybody in your trade room says, I ain't going to babysit your trade. You're probably hodling. You're probably losing it all as we speak. And you're wondering where is there anyone out there that can make sense of all this? Well, folks, I have just the news for you. In fact, I know a group of guys, the one they call the Crypto Cowboy. The other man who simply is known as Z. It could be Zorro for all we know.
Very possible.
And one of my good friends and cohorts, the man simply known as Frank. Or we like to call him here. His new name, Simply Frank.
Simply Frank.
Like that 80s artist Simply Red. Who was that cheesy singer? Remember?
Hey, look, man, it was either going to be Simply Frank or I was going to name you after Crowder's sidekick, not Gay Jared.
No, I am not.
I was gonna call you not Gay Frank.
I'm too. No, you see, I present as too
alpha for that.
Too alpha and too butch for that. Yeah.
So you're just Simply Frank.
Yeah,
I like that. Simply
Thank
Frank.
you. Thanks.
You're welcome, bro.
Folks,
a lot of things going on. And guys, if you haven't done so already, go to the cryptoschool.io. Go to the friggin' cryptoschool.io. Get the curriculum. The curriculum's $297. You're going to learn all your wallets that you need to go learn. You're going to have access to videos, exchanges, how to really navigate. And once you're ready, or if you're already ready and you want to just make it happen for yourself, go to the Watch Us Trade. Click Watch Us Trade. You go into the trading room. You're going to be dealing with Crypto Z, Crypto Cowboy. Watch how they do the trades. They will show you the method to the madness, and they're going to show you how. When everybody else was taking a bath, and everybody else was telling you to hodl, and they're there, it'll be okay. And certain guys were getting on their YouTube channel singing "Kumbaya, my cryptos, Kumbaya." These guys were returning a 250% profit verified.
During the bloodbath.
During the bloodbath, these guys grossed 250% profit.
Oh, then actually, it's a lot more. That's old.
That was a span of 3 days.
Damn it! Look at that. What was the official numbers when was all said and done, when the dust settled?
Officially, well, we stopped counting after about, I'd say, what do you think, see, 350%? I mean, that's
ridiculous.
That's
I calculated over 400 and like 30%.
So, some of you were in some trading rooms losing it all because they're hodl traders were telling you to hodl. And you're on the verge of losing it all, and you thought about just jumping into a cardboard box and eating cat food, waiting for this to turn around. Guys, the people that were in our trading room over at the crypto school were making a killing.
It's not even like trading room numbers. It's like TARDIS numbers. It's time machine. It's like show me your secret book from the future that you got.
Exactly right.
Ridiculous.
But I don't want to join the trading room. I just want to eat Whiskas and hodl.
That's it. Hodl. Get your hodl. We don't sell hodl gear here, guys. We don't sell hodl t-shirts, hodl coffee mugs. We don't sell any of that. Hodl is for scaredy cats and FUD lovers. If you're a FUD lover, go hodl somewhere else. The only thing I hodl in is I like to take my crypto profits and shove it into metals, baby. I like to give me some gold. I'll give me some silver. I'll hodl Bitcoin. That's because I came to Bitcoin when it was like just a few $100. So I have no problem hodling that. But over here, we don't hodl. We don't sell hodl coffee mugs. We sell trade. This is where traders are made. That's where money's made. If you're all ready to make money. With that being said, you guys are ready.
Yeah.
Z, Cowboy, how you guys want to start this? Go ahead.
Well, actually, Frank's jumping in. We got.
What do you want first?
We got two things we've got to tell people about. One that I already forgot, which I'm hoping comes back to me. But hey, can we go over to Cowboy's screen right now?
Yeah.
Cowboy, can you refresh Crypto School?
Refresh it, okay.
Yeah, you had it up on your screen. I'm hoping this works. Sometimes it takes a minute to propagate. Okay, you see that featured? Now, it says 6 coins with Crypto Z, a fundamental analysis of up-and-coming projects. As promised, Z and I, well, actually, we promised 5 coins, but he pulled out another one. As promised, Z and I did had a discussion, did an interview on Friday, and I was scrambling. I had thought that I had processed the video and everything, and when I looked at it, it had like like outtakes still in it and stuff like that. I was so glad I didn't just upload it because it had embarrassing stuff in it. But Z knows what I'm talking about. But I had to I had to export the final version. I got it up like minutes ago, and we had an awesome discussion. And I got to tell you, you know, V and I did a list of seven coins we were looking at a few months ago. Most of them tremendous winners. And again, this is fundamental analysis. It's basically research. Okay, so we're kickstarting your own research for you. And he looks at 6 tokens that and the thing is, when V and I did ours, it was good, but there was a lot of stuff there that it was kind of like our favorites of stuff that is already on people's radar. Most of these, I don't think people have even heard of. Am I right, Z? Like, these are not things that the average hodler even knows about.
These, maybe there's one inside there.
Yeah.
But for the most part, these are very small sort of. We look for these small market cap sort of gems that have the potential to do that crazy 10 to 20x, right? That changes your life forever.
Yeah.
That makes you quit your job like I did, right?
Exactly. So for everything we were just saying, joking around about hodling, these are actually some great things to hodl. These are not short-term trades. These are things that, again, I shouldn't say that because I'm not advising you to get these, but this is something you should take a look at. How about that? So this is available, and Z did us a favor because this isn't in his part of the crypto school. This is in the educational part of the crypto school. This is the one-time payment of $297 to get access to our educational content. So that is available right now. 6 coins with Crypto Z, a fundamental analysis of up-and-coming projects, and that's a really good description. Also, Cowboy and I, in fact, hey, Cowboy, can you go to the tab that says Schools Video Series?
Yes.
There you go. School, yeah. So this is all of the content currently up there. I'm adding 2 more videos this week, probably 3 more, 2 that are already in the bag, already done. So you can see their special reports, 6 coins with Crypto Z. Now, here's the thing. You can go and look at this page and see everything that is currently in there. There's a couple things that are not on the list yet that will be up very soon. And this is the content that is available and growing. If you looked at this a month ago, like almost half of this wasn't there yet. So we've got, scroll down a little bit so we can see our trading. We've got our trading section there. No, I'm sorry, scroll up. Sorry. Trading Basics series, that's me and Cowboy, and some awesome stuff there. So if you're not ready to get into a trading room, you should definitely spend a few weeks digesting the content in the crypto school first, and then it'll be like blast off. So we recommend both because there is now more and more. When you remember when we started, we were all about the basics in the crypto school, and we were saying, hey, this is for people who don't know anything. Right?
Absolutely.
We were pushing it. We didn't want someone who was, you know, spending half their day on Ether Delta going into the crypto school and saying, oh man, I know all this, right? That's more and more, that's not really the case anymore. The crypto school curriculum, video curriculum is getting more and more advanced. It starts at the beginning. I mean, we literally start at Coinbase. Okay. It's like real beginner stuff. We talk about how to use my Ether wallet. We talk about how to use Ether Delta, which translates well into Fork Delta, which is what most people are using now. But, you know, the trading basics, the security series, all that stuff, it's getting more and more advanced and more useful. So wanted to put that out there. There's some great content there in addition to what we usually focus on in this show, which is our Watch Us Trade Room, which is going to change your life as well. So you need both, people. It'll be well worth your hard-earned money to have both. Trust me.
I mean, it's all about empowerment. It's all about changing your lives, man. That's what the whole thing comes down to. And we're lucky enough to and blessed to be with Z and Cowboy.
Hey V, you and I. One more anecdote for people. You and I help people who have gotten themselves in bad situations with debt. Horrible situations. The last couple of weeks in particular, we had a couple people who had gotten into some horrible investments. And basically, I'm not going to divulge anything, please. Obviously, people's stuff is privacy is safe with us. We do that day in and day out. But let me just say, they can't get the access to their own money. Right.
Yeah.
And it's hard. And you just say to yourself, oh my goodness, they can't get their money back. And now they're in trouble. And now we have to give them asset protection and all this stuff. So which we're happy. That's what we love doing. But one of the things I love about cryptos, it's in your own control. And you said we empower people. We empower people to be in charge of their own investments, how to understand them, how to grow them, how to protect them. And it's so exciting, man. It's like a thrill. Sorry, I'll stop now. Well, people want to hear the traders talk. So, the other thing, a little preview what we're doing. We're going to talk about a coin that everybody's freaking out about, thanks to friends of ours like Bix, and that's Theta. And our guys did some analysis. So that's coming up. I guess we'll do that at the end. We'll keep people waiting a little.
Yeah. Oh, awesome! Congratulations, Gene. Thanks for sharing your input here, and we appreciate it. I'm glad that you made that good gain this week.
So that's in the chat room.
Yeah,
I'm like, Z's freaking out. I'm like, Z's losing it.
No, what's going on? One of the people chatting in the live chat right now. It's one of our guys.
We got old Gene over here in the corner.
We got Gene.
I'm going by.
I'm like
Gene.
eating a protein cookie, sipping coffee, and I'm like, Gene,
what's he talking about?
Look at that, guys. No, real fast, guys. Look at that. 1.4 BTC. He's swinging 1.4 BTC, and he made 0.3 BTC based on his crypto school guidance right there.
Wow.
This is in a week. This is in a week, and he's not like what happened the last week with a lot of people. They've been sitting out, they've been hodling, and they've been losing their tails, right? And this guy's swinging around, listening to some of the stuff that Cowboy and I are doing, and he's doing good.
And when Z says crypto school guidance, he actually means crypto school entertainment, because
crypto school entertainment. Damn it!
we don't really give any kind of financial advice. We don't really give any kind of anything like that.
Yes.
But we just we use funny different words sometimes, and like that's like a verbal typo, I think.
All sorts of verbal typos coming from me, guys. Don't listen to me.
Yeah. So that, and I think the guidance that Z might be talking about is like how to do a stop loss and some of like the nuts and bolts, because I know that Gene was having a hard time with that, and he actually specifically asked some questions with regard to stop loss and the mechanics of it. That's not giving financial advice. You're just teaching the mechanics of how to push buttons on a system. So we certainly offer those kinds of guidances. But when it comes to actual, we just want to make sure we're differentiated between nuts and bolts guidance and actual investment advice. But hey, we're also very entertaining, and that's fun.
Hey, we got another Christopher 2 BTC into 2.8 in 9 days. That's amazing.
Whoa.
Wow. I've got to stop answering support emails and get in there to trade.
Bitcoins and made it 3 Bitcoins. That's what's up.
You want to build a snowman?
That's crazy.
That's awesome. Congratulations, guys.
So happy for you people. So happy.
Real results. And Frank, we got to get that collage up on the Crypto School.
It is up. It is.
Where?
It's up there. It's on both. It's on the homepage. It's on the Watch Us Trade.
What?
You by the way, real fast to address the last person who just stated a comment in the YouTube chat. You have to remember that Bix got into Litecoin and so forth at a very, very early stage. Remember how V, for example, just stated that he's hodling Bitcoin, right? Because he got in such an early stage. I mean, I think Bix got into Litecoin at ICO.
Yeah.
The guy got into the Litecoin when it was like 50 cents. So
yeah, we got to be fair. I mean, there's
yes.
We speak our native tongue is hyperbole. But the truth is, there's people have been hodling a long time, have tremendous gains from that. We're just saying there's things you can do even in a bear market, which is awesome,
and especially newcomers.
Absolutely, yeah. There's nothing wrong with getting started with a little hodl. I do a lot of that too. So
yeah, I mean, here's the thing about it. No, my belief personally is that there's no one strategy that works all the time. So I tend to want to have a hybrid strategy where I will shift to whatever strategy is the most beneficial. In the higher risk stuff, I'll put a lower amount of money towards it. Look, these are all the kinds of stuff that if I were to continue, I would be doing people in the in the crypto school a little bit of a disservice because this is entertainment that they pay for. So suffice it to say, though, what some of the things that we talk about in there entertainment wise is, what I do, what percentage of my bag is going to be for HODL. How do you handle like a little jewel that you buy that, do you sell that at this point? Do you sell it at that point? And, we have people that are people are hungry for this information.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, let's face it, people are changing their lives. Z and I were both able to quit our jobs. Well, I was actually laid off, but
that's great.
Necessity is the mother of invention.
No, not really. You weren't laid off, Broham. I mean,
project essentially was done. So
I couldn't come out any more money to pay Cowboy.
Right.
the company was borrowing.
company was borrowing all their money from Z was putting together like a group of investors to pay for this company.
Yeah, that's great.
At that point, it's like, all right. So anyway, it's
nice. Congratulations, Danny. Congratulations.
Well, who the hell is Danny?
Hey guys, you guys need to be in this right now. The chat's great right now. The chat is great right now. Danny was able to keep up his Satoshi value.
See, I'm lost without CJ.
Danny was able to keep up his Satoshi value, his entire Bloodstorm. Just
wow.
Inside there, just keeping up his value, his BTC value, which is what counts.
Yeah, that's what counts. That's what matters.
So congratulations, Danny. All right, I'm done interrupting.
Let's get to some charts.
Yeah, we got a chart up right now. I don't know if you guys can see it.
Yeah, I
can see it.
I can see it.
Oh, look at that. That's interesting.
Yeah, that's Bitcoin. So what you're looking at is it was a bull flag. So let me see. I think the news. Okay, let's talk a little bit about G20. Right, we'll get into depth in a little bit, but the G20 event was something that everybody was kind of looking to because they knew they were going to talk about crypto regulation. And we're not going to talk about it for the moment. We're going to talk about charts. But suffice it to say, the news was pretty good. And once that news came out, we saw this nice jump from I don't know, low 7s up into past 8. And one of the things that I was concerned about is the last time that we had a close before 8 after such a nasty drop like that, it went down below 6. So the weekly close below 8, or the weekly close above 8, last night was actually a good thing. And, it's kind of different than the stock market. When you're talking about like a daily close or weekly close, it always happens at a certain time of day when the market closes. But in this case, it's actually a little bit more flexible because, it depends on what time zone you're in. But suffice it to say, we closed above 8, and I was happy to see that. And we started going into this bull flag. Now, if we actually follow this rough flag that I'm drawing right here, it's a little bit ugly. But hey, the market's ugly. What can I say? Let's see here. You're going to see a rise that could go as high as maybe 88, 8,900 before we actually see an end to this little rally. So it did try to break out right here, but it looks like we had, it wasn't quite ready. People are taking profit. So if we do draw this out, though, notably, a prior resistance is 8,800. This kind of spikes just above 9,000. And with as dirty of a flag as I just drew, I would probably be conservative and say 88 to 8,900 is where this might stop running. And then the reason that I like to see Bitcoin not run, like not fall certainly, but I like to kind of see it slowly run or sort of stabilize and then run, stabilize and then run. Mm-hmm. During those stable times, that's when you see the alts pop off. And we did see a bit of alts popping off last night and this morning. As soon as that news hit, Bitcoin hit the resistance where it's at right now of roughly 8,300, which is one of the resistances that we have been calling. And it's flagging right there. The bears and the bulls are fighting. During that time, all of a sudden, I think like 15% of all the altcoins on Binance are like well above 20% profit right now. So, Z, I think you were talking with Frank a little bit, and you mentioned something about a bull trap. So do you want to enlighten us on that?
Yeah. Well, the question I had was, someone was asking me, when things were bad yesterday, they wanted to get out of some stuff and hold off, thinking it was going to go lower. Then we had this pop this morning, and my question was, is this a bear trap or whatever you call
it? So in my opinion, now this is my opinion. I believe it is a trap. And the reason why I think it's a trap is because this is very similar. If you look at the previous history of, during tanks and so forth of Bitcoin, you can see very similar trends to these altcoins. Essentially what happens is that, altcoins today pumped up. You can see some great gains across the board at like 20, 30, 40, 50%. And what's going to happen is that a lot of people that are in those altcoins that have left their bags in those altcoins are essentially going to take profit, trying to mitigate loss and stick in Bitcoin because they're scared now. And they know that Bitcoin, retains that same value. So that's what's going to happen. And traders are becoming smarter and smarter as this space is developed. So what I think is going to happen, what personally I think is going to happen is that these altcoins are going to essentially pump today like they did already. People are going to take profit. That profit is going to be put into Bitcoin, and you're going to see Bitcoin have a massive explosion very soon here.
Logging into Binance,
into Bitcoin, but what's gonna happen is every single time people,
not even kidding,
every single time people sell an altcoin into Bitcoin, it rises Bitcoin's dominance up, and you can see today actually, Bitcoin's dominance today is, let's see, it is 44.1%, guys. 44.1%. We spoke about this, I think, last week. It was 41%. And that was already extremely high. Before that, we spoke about it when it was 40%, 39%. That was already extremely high. It's just rising up. And if you look at the percentage of total market capitalization of Bitcoin, the dominance of Bitcoin, you can see a nice fat trajectory up, starting from when it was down in January. Yep. And the last time the alt market sort of came back when it was alt season was when Bitcoin's dominance was about 60%. So we're starting to really ramp up. So what typically happens is that Bitcoin does this exponential, crazy growth up. It rises up like a lot, and then the money, slowly trickles out from Bitcoin into altcoins, which causes, altcoins to have that season.
So there you have it. So to summarize, right? Because that's a lot of info. Bitcoin jumps, and after a long bear season, Bitcoin will all jump up, and then it'll stabilize, and the alts will start to come up. And so people, they understand that Bitcoin is going to run again. They understand that when Bitcoin runs, the alts go down. So they're going to take whatever profit they can while they can, and then put it back into Bitcoin. So, a lot of people hear the word bear trap and they think, oh, there's this some guys with cigars around a table and, it's all dark room and we're going to trap these. No. Oh, good show, boy. You trapped them good. No. It's, it's more of a
it's psychology.
It's the way it goes. People are going to take profit when they can, and you'd rather dump before you get dumped on. It's kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So is that true? You're talking about how it works with the alts, right? Is it true with the other three of the big four, if you include Bitcoin Cash?
I personally think it's true for everything. Nothing is impenetrable when it comes to Bitcoin. Bitcoin is by far the most dominant coin out there. It's really like people say, oh, but hey, what about Litecoin and Ethereum and stuff like that? I mean, it does not matter. I mean, you look at Ethereum the last few days. Ethereum has just absolutely tanked.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, Ethereum is probably actually a good deal right now. I don't know if it's going to go any lower, but the last time the Bitcoin tanked back in December before the big run, after the big run, when it dropped all the way down to like 11,000 in like a day or something, I was actually ready to go, and so I watched all the alts, and then the alts really dipped, and then so I went ahead and bought the alts. Like right after Bitcoin stabilized, bought the alts, then the alts stabilized, sold back into Bitcoin. and then Bitcoin ran, and then the alts dumped. So then I bought the alts stabilized back into Bitcoin. There's entire strategies that go along with this. And this is the game. And Zena, this is like the 6th crash we've been through, right?
Zena, this is the 6th crash we've been through, guys. This is all stuff that we talk about in the trading room. Of course for entertainment purposes, but yes.
And if you're really, really wrong, you end up with a bunch of Bitcoin.
Correct. Exactly. So we mitigate loss right there. Yeah, right. We mitigate loss right there. Mm-hmm.
So that's that's what's happening. And so what we do is I lately have been paying a lot of attention to Bitcoin. The updates that we're kind of posting up there are, what are the resistance points? What are the supports? If it hits one of these points, then we're going to act accordingly. We're going to watch to see if we can confirm the next direction it's going to take. And right now, just a freebie for all the listeners out there in the cryptoverse. Right now, we're looking at just below 9,000 before we see either a pause or a turn. However, this is crypto. Anything can happen. So, again, this is all for entertainment. So enjoy it. Not investment advice.
Can we look at the other, since we're talking about them, can we look at the rest of the big four?
No, Frank, we
can't. The Beatles of crypto. We should call them the Beatles.
We could.
Because they're the Fab Four.
Fab Four.
I'm coining that. Frank invented that. The man known simply as Frank.
Okay.
The Beatles now in crypto now means the 4 things on Coinbase.
Yeah, you're coining that. Pardon the pun.
Yeah.
All right, so we got let's look at Litecoin, since that's one of our favorites.
Do you guys remember that time we interviewed Cliff High?
Oh yeah, that was like Friday.
That was so. Yeah, everybody, while he's changing charts, go back and listen. Friday we talked to Cliff High, and it was epic.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about the Theta? Well,
no, we're saving that for the end.
Oh, we're saying that for that. Okay, sorry.
It's called a tease. We're doing what the nightly news does, where they say, "Have they discovered Bigfoot?" And then in like 2 minutes left of the show, they say, "No." Except we really are going to talk about
the answers to come.
That's so funny.
We actually have great info on Theta, but we're going to make you wait.
Alpha Beta, that's a great grocery store. All right, so let me see here. Now Litecoin, I just brought this up and I just took a look at it, and this is what I see. I see a bit of a consolidation, aka an accumulation. So you have your highs getting lower, your lows getting higher. So everything's kind of, oftentimes I see this as a charge up. So the bears and the bulls are kind of getting tired of each other. Mm-hmm. And whoever wins, they're going to slowly fight a little bit harder. And then they're going to start to overcome their tiredness, their whatever you call that, fatigue. And then they're going to probably go up. Now, given that the general market sentiment in the short term is bullish, I feel, and this is based on the G20, then I think once these guys get tired duking it up, once the price passes this line, I think we're going to see a rise up. Now, that will happen if Bitcoin doesn't freak out and do something crazy. That's what I think is going to happen. Are you seeing the same things here, or are you seeing anything different?
No, that looks good. That looks good.
So that's Litecoin. Did you have any other questions, Frank? I know you wanted to take.
Better bet on the easier bet at this moment is on Bitcoin.
Well, the safer bet is on Bitcoin.
Gotcha.
I mean, if you're not sitting in front of the computer, like trading all day, then yeah, that's the thing to do. That's what I'm doing. If I was to say go and have lunch or something, I'd just stay in Bitcoin. So we just had to look at Paul. Let's look at George here.
You're making John as Bitcoin.
Let it bowl.
He's got to be, right?
Let it bowl. Let it bowl. Singing sweet songs of hodl. All right. So
Litecoin's the cute one.
Yeah, we got
Ethereum is George, right? Because it's the D. And then there's Bitcoin Cash, which is Ringo.
I don't really appreciate you calling me Bitcoin Cash. Isn't there a better coin to be?
We're going to call it R Cash, and our friend Roger is going to explode.
Oh, good Lord. All right. So poor Roger Ver. He's like, I don't want to be Ringo. I want to be the cute one.
Someone had to be Ringo.
Ringo.
And Bitcoin Diamond is Pete Best.
We like them all. Pete Best.
Yeah, Bitcoin Diamond is Pete Best.
Bitcoin Diamond. Oh wow, this joke we could keep going with this forever.
Yeah,
there are people
our listeners
right now in comments. I can feel it. I'm not even looking. I just feel it.
All right. So we could see some action out of Ethereum. Look, here's the thing. Ethereum, I think, is retraced like 50% or something.
Bad. Yeah.
I mean, it's maybe more than that. Ethereum hit the dump. Yeah. And there's a lot of people saying that, oh, it's because of this, it's because of that. Okay, look, I do believe that Ethereum is just going to be solid, and I think Vitalik will keep it so. It's had some problems, everything has. Now, I think that it does have enough juice to move forward once this flag plays out. So there's a concern I have about the flag not playing out. It's because you have an increase in volume right here. So I don't like to see that. But if the volume does trail back off and this fake out breakout sort of, doesn't interrupt the flag pattern, then we could see an eventual jump out of this and to go as high as, like, say 600-ish before that juice tires out. Now that's just based on one indicator. That's the flag indicator. I haven't done any like Elliott wave or anything else on it. But that's a quick and dirty read. So
cool.
We got we don't want to look. Here's the thing. We'd take up like the whole show if I read all four of these the right way. Like it would.
Yeah, of course.
This is quick and dirty.
Quick look.
And a lot of the charts that you see right now are going to look the same because the crypto market is all happening, in unison right now, and it's all with regard to the effects of Bitcoin.
Yeah, because when Bitcoin moves, it moves everybody's price because they're judged against Bitcoin, right?
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't not judged against Bitcoin, but definitely. I guess that's another way to put it. Yeah, judged against, because they like, oh, Bitcoin, I better get back into Bitcoin. It's more important. That would be a judgment. Well,
I mean, like most charts for traders are in Satoshi. So
yes, yeah.
So
most
if Litecoin is 0.18 and Bitcoin goes up, the dollar amount of Litecoin goes up with it. It affects the trading and blah blah blah.
Yeah, especially because we're in a speculative market. These coins are not valued on their own. It's all speculation. So. You're going to see that. What the way that I would put that is everything's paired with Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Now Bitcoin Cash, that looks like I might have to look at it from some different standpoints before I really made a choice on how I feel about it. I
don't like it.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't know. I mean, it
looks decent right now, but I wouldn't. I don't touch Bitcoin Cash. It's really pointless right now, in my opinion.
That's kind of like that. I mean,
could you elaborate on that for a little bit on the BCH?
Okay. Well, all right. So the whole premise of Bitcoin Cash is that Bitcoin Cash is allows people to transact Bitcoin faster, right? Essentially, Roger Ver has stated that. The way Bitcoin is right now, Bitcoin has gotten away from Satoshi's idea of what Bitcoin should be. And that is true to a certain degree. Of course, Bitcoin was always supposed to be a small sort of transactable item. Satoshi never expected Bitcoin to be as large as it is now. That was, Bitcoin. For those of you who don't know, Bitcoin is not a complete product. Bitcoin's a beta.
Right.
It's a beta. So scalability was always the issue for Bitcoin, and with the Lightning Network being in beta right now, this could completely change the game for Bitcoin Cash. If Lightning happens and Bitcoin is able to transact quickly as well as with low fees, then what's the point of Bitcoin Cash?
Yeah, it's a kill shot at that point.
It's a kill shot right there, right? Bitcoin Cash is banking that Bitcoin will not be able to do that in its core, core programming. But we'll see. Of course, it could go the other way. It could go that Bitcoin completely fails out on the Lightning and that Bitcoin Cash is the future. But then, how does that play out with Litecoin and so forth? There's a lot of factors.
Well, yeah, Bitcoin Cash is also something that has a lot of traction in like the libertarian circles because even Roger Ver himself, and we talked about this, I think, 2 videos ago, but Roger Ver talked about how the Lightning Network essentially is going to give the ability to the people with, say, the most money to be able to collect fees from transactions because the way that the nodes work. So essentially, it's sort of a Trojan horse for banks. That's how Roger Ver feels. I can see what he's talking about. Bitcoin Cash is, I know a lot of people in the, libertarian circles or the voluntary circles, and they're really bullish on Bitcoin Cash for that kind of reason.
Oh, very cool. That's good to know.
Yeah. So, but at the same time, I don't think people are going to care. They just want to use their Bitcoin. Like, as far as the wider market is concerned, I don't think people are going to care Bitcoin Cash, and banks. They just want to use their stuff and get their stuff.
It goes back to what Cliff was saying on Friday. When all of this stuff shakes out and these become real means of exchange and not just for speculation. And I know that's increasing every day. But he was saying, there's going to come a time when speculation isn't the driving force of the price behind it.
Of course, absolutely.
That's when you're really going to see.
Yes.
Is it ETH? Is it Litecoin? Is it Bitcoin? What are they used for? How are they used?
Yes.
I love what he said about Bitcoin will be the kind of thing that nations settle debts with. That was this was pretty awesome. So do we want to people waiting with bated breath? Do we want to move on to our special coin for the day?
If we want to put that last, I think people might be just as wanting to hear about what all of the governments in the world are planning to do about cryptos.
Please.
So the G20 just happened, essentially. It's going on now. And the basic way to put this is the decision is to let countries independently deal with how they want to tax Bitcoin, how they want to regulate it. I got
how generous of them.
Yeah, so I'll basically no to the presumption of crime. So there's like yes to this and no to that. Basically, like they're taking the stance that they're not going to presume that Bitcoin is used for criminal. They're not going to stifle progress and entrepreneurs with counterproductive regulations. They are not going to blindly follow proposals of other currently leading countries and international organizations. I like that one.
That's awesome.
I like that one too.
No, that's a good one. No to fear and tax collection driven reforms. No to restriction of private transactions between individuals. No to active.
These are actual statements from them?
This is actually from the G20 Argentina industry proposal on cryptocurrencies, crypto assets, and blockchain regulation.
Dude,
because
the governments are blowing our minds for the good lately with this stuff.
Here's the thing, guys. Look, we're entering a multipolar world. Okay, this whole jackbooted thug attitude that's been the Anglo-American banking structure for the last 200 some odd years.
Yeah.
It's falling apart.
Absolutely.
What these idiots in government don't realize, and Frank, you and Mr. X and I, and we went over this in our last show that we did with crypto and taxes. There's no regulatory teeth behind any of this stuff. Why? Simple. They're realizing what Russia has learned and what China has learned and what Germany has recently learned is it is damn near next to impossible to tax cryptos.
Yeah.
You just can't do it. There's nothing right now that could effectively, efficiently track and or tax cryptos. Show me your cryptos. You have to pay tax on it.
Sure.
Okay. Where's your wallet? I lost it.
Lost it.
Crickets. That's all you hear. Crickets on the other end. Crickets. Because they don't have an effective means of mechanism in order to bring transactions to bear. Now, what all these chicken-hearted governments are going to do is this. See, the Western corrupt bastards who run the Anglo-American banking structure, they want to dominate it. They tried the taxation. Well, that failed. They tried to regulate it, and that's somewhat working at the exchange level domestically. But that's going to come to an end when atomic swaps get better and better, right? And then you won't need a direct exchange, right? And then you have those offshore exchanges in well, in countries where they don't have to face the regulatory arm of Uncle Sam. And there's creative ways where people who are Americans who are barred from many exchanges are able to get onto international exchanges using some quote unquote creative means. So the point is, it's very, very difficult for them to do much of anything at the end of the day. And the only thing they can do right now at this point is accept it in, and they themselves try to come out with some state-sponsored crypto equivalents to throw into the mix. And that's not going to work well because these assholes need that control. They can't give up control. So, it's these guys are going the way of the horse-drawn carriage. They just can't keep up with the development. You see, let's just say this. Let's just say, governments create their own cryptos. Okay.
Great.
The question becomes, can they, the government, who sucks at doing everything, who cannot even make a post office run efficiently without losing money, who cannot make a railroad like Amtrak run efficiently without derailments every other week, which cannot even make a DMV where you go get your license. They can't even make that efficient. Can a government-created crypto compete with the bleeding-edge technology and speed of development that you see happening in the private sector when it comes to cryptos? Can they do it? The answer is a big fat no. So not
only that, how does a government effectively use the truth machine that is the blockchain?
They can. They want to make it private.
Everything they do is funded on lost money.
Exactly. And
we misplaced $2 trillion in the Pentagon. Oops.
And this is why they can't do it, because the whole point is this. Okay, they say, "Oh, look, we have our own blockchain. Oh, can we see it? Some parts of it. You don't have a blockchain. You just have a ledger. You have a private ledger. You don't have a blockchain. So that's where they lose out." Go ahead, Z.
Oh, you mean I was talking
Cowboy,
about. So there's more. There's no to tax cryptocurrencies when used as a means of payment. No to scare, right? So no sales tax, essentially. No to scare citizens and companies. No to over regulation caused by lack of understanding.
Amazing.
No to treat everything as the same with ambiguous definitions. I love that one, because that's like what our government does. I mean, there's a whole list here. I can continue to go. There's also a bunch of yeses. And the yeses are like not as cool as the no's to me, but essentially what we're looking at is, okay, so the bigger countries, China, the US, and Russia, they seem to be sort of at the top of wanting to put a clamp on things. And I think that's because they understand that in this new multipolar world that he likes to talk about, all the countries are going to have to work together, especially on the financial sector. And as that sector crumbles, I believe that what's going to happen is, the state is going to lose its power here in the U.S. because they're as Jim Willey calls it, their 0% feeder system, aka the bond market, aka the 10x. That's just going to end up going way off the chain. And once that thing stops working, then America is going to say uncle and start asking for help around the world. And if the people in our government are smart enough and wise enough to understand that countries like China and Russia are not the boogeyman, then they will get some help, and we will then see a much more cooperative future. And that's why these three major power blocks, I think, are being a little more regulatory on cryptos. It's like a protection measure. So I don't want to get too far into that. I want to bore everybody to tears, but what I see is
things look
good.
That's big.
Okay, well then the last thing I'll say about it then, before we move on to maybe our other exciting topic of a certain coin, is that when you have all these major G20 countries not agreeing to put this regulation on, then what you have is a very von Mises situation, a very libertarian type situation where if these three major, USA, China, Russia, if they really want to put the clamps on regulation, then all of the crypto business is going to go to these other countries, and these other countries are going to prosper. And I guarantee you, China's not stupid. Russia's not stupid. United States, they think we're stupid. I think that you have some not stupid people that are running along with the really stupid people. The point is that I think I think that they know that they're going to have to stay competitive on the cryptocurrency front in order to survive. So the fact that not all these countries agree to just stifle cryptocurrencies, that takes away the ability for these larger countries to stifle them, because the competition is going to win out at the end of the day. So that's what happened at the G20. I think it's great news.
While you were reading, I kept thinking the road to Ruta theory looks better and better with this stuff, right? It's like there's some good guys over there. Some good guy had his hand on the pen there,
But yeah, you guys had a coin that you wanted to talk about.
Yeah, so there's a lot of excitement. Speaking of road to Ruta, a lot of excitement with Bix and others. I think it was JSnip who initially started stirring it up a bit about this one. But I'm getting a lot of questions about it, so people want to know about it. And I don't know anything about it. The question I keep getting messaged to me through our Slack chats and stuff is, where can I get Theta? So I asked you guys, and you have kindly agreed to do some fundamental analysis and some technical analysis for us on Theta. So can we take a look at that?
Yeah.
And by the way, on Gate.io, for all the crypto school people who are asking me, Gate.io is an exchange that has Theta.
And before we go any further, I believe the description for the cryptoschool.io is in the is that in the YouTube, V?
Yeah, the link is in the description box. I slapped it in there.
Perfect. We have a lot of people who are asking, hey, how do you get to the cryptoschool.io? Where do you learn
cryptoschool.io is how you spell it, you peoples.
Check your spelling and add the definite article.
It's inside the description.
In YouTube, yeah.
Peeps. Yep.
So go ahead, guys. I'm going to look up Theta here.
Okay, so Theta, guys, is available on Gate.io. It's also available on Huobi as well as OKX. Be careful about Huobi. There's been some FUD around in regards to China exchanges in Huobi, and OKX are them. So even though Huobi is currently cheaper than Gate.io, the price of Theta, slightly cheaper, it might just be better just to purchase it on Gate.io. So Theta right now is an ERC22 token, or 20 token, I'm sorry. ERC20 token. That means it's based on the Ethereum blockchain. However, for those of you who are in the crypto space and know, like, for example, OneChain, what they're doing is that the current token that is currently out there right now, the ERC20 token, is not the actual real Theta token. Theta is going to be its own blockchain. That means it's going to have its own mainnet. It's going to, launch its own blockchain. And when that happens, you will be able to turn in your Theta token, your placement marker, you should say, for the real Theta token that will be based on their own blockchain. So just know that right now, yes, it is available as an ERC20 token. You can put it inside, like, your wallets and so forth, but you will have to exchange it later on.
Yeah, but for trading purposes, it's the real deal.
Yeah, it's a real deal right now. Correct.
When you're hearing about people getting into Theta, that's what you get for now.
Correct. Exactly.
Kind of like EOS.
Correct. Exactly. So that will be swapped out later. Now Theta, what Theta is that Theta essentially is a streaming service or an entertainment service that is going to be built on the blockchain, which is very, very interesting because right now, and I'm actually a pretty big fan of this. I'm not sure for those of you who know what Twitch.tv is. Twitch.tv is essentially a partner of Justin.tv, which essentially is a competitor to YouTube. A lot of streamers use it, and it's been dominating the gaming industry. The entire esports gaming industry has been using Twitch.tv for essentially all of their streaming needs. A lot of people use it for various other things, but it's mainly used for esports. So Theta is looking to pretty much take that mantle from Twitch.tv and make it decentralized, so that not only do you use it for streaming, but streamers and programmers can also build dApps directly onto that platform. It's going to be geared towards entertainment and streaming, but of course, it's eventually going to branch off into other, various sectors. But the niche it's trying to go into right now is the entertainment sector. Yeah. So Theta's team right now is all-star. So Theta has an amazing team. I really enjoy their team. They have some very, very strong team members, very strong core developers, as well as very strong marketing people, which is, very critical in this space. You can actually check out their current platform. Their current platform is actually sliver.tv. So yeah, sliver.tv, SLIVER.tv. And you can actually already see that it's kind of being used a little bit by streamers currently. I think there's a girl playing a game on there right now in which you can just watch and you can just,
I'm on here now. That's cool.
Yeah, and you can just watch her play and people donate money and so forth. Very similar to twitch.tv. And it's currently being used. So now Theta's roadmap is pretty fast paced. Right now, the platform is live right now, as you can see. What's going to happen is that in phase 4, which is Q4 of 2018, that's when they'll actually be launching their full-on blockchain. And that's when you can swap the tokens. And that's where they're going to start allowing mining nodes, as well as starting to really push for the platform to be used in like professional gaming.
Wow.
That's awesome. Yeah. It sounds like a great coin.
So streaming and gaming.
So it's streaming, gaming, movies, education as well. So it's really targeting the entertainment platform as well as, online education. And that's sort of its niche at the moment. And, this would be competing with DTube as well as Steemit a little bit. But if they can actually, do what they said they're going to do.
Isn't you said the team's really good? Isn't one of the founders one of the YouTube co-founders?
Yes, one of the is one of the YouTube. Yeah, exactly. Co-founders, correct.
Is it going to run on the VAS protocol?
Oh God!
I love the VAS protocol.
Okay.
God, you guys are, just for listeners,
don't even explain anything to the listeners. Just move on like it didn't happen.
All right. Just know that Frank and I are the level-headed ones in here. You guys are just animals.
That's terrifying, Z. That's terrifying.
Well, didn't Cliff when he tweeted after the last show, he said he fell in with a bunch of unrestrained pirates.
The pirates are V and Cowboy.
Dude, my testosterone levels went up 5% after hearing that. I was so excited.
And so finally, guys, the really interesting part about Theta that I have seen, actually, just because I'm in this, I actually used to be a pretty hardcore gamer. So the really interesting part is Theta's partners and investors. Mm-hmm. So their investors are Sony and Samsung. And I know for a fact right now, I'm not going to say why, but I have a good buddy of mine who's in Sony's entertainment department. Sony has been targeting, has been looking for a real way into the gaming sort of industry, not just from a console standpoint, because of course they have the PS4, but they're looking to sort of get into the streaming standpoint, in which right now Sony has it directly integrated twitch.tv into their platform. But if Sony can own their own streaming industry or platform, that would be huge.
Is that what Twitch is? You keep talking about Twitch, and I honestly have no idea.
Yeah. So if, for those of you who don't know, Twitch is essentially the largest streaming gaming platform out there.
Oh, okay. Oh, cool.
It's absolutely massive. It's actually a subset of Justin.tv, which people were like streaming all sorts of things like cooking shows and stuff like that. Twitch.tv was made because of how big gaming got recently. As you know, it just got huge. And the fact that Sony and Samsung are partnering together and investors into this sort of token is a very big sign.
So this is big business getting into crypto here.
Sony has a history of extremely successful vertical integration. So they know how to get their fingers into whatever business they want, and they're exceedingly good at it.
The FOMO is real with Theta.
The FOMO is real with Theta, and yes, and as Frank was saying, guys, Steve Chen was the co-founder of YouTube, and he is the #1 advisor for Theta, and Theta just has an extremely good team. Like I do fundamental analysis a lot, and and Theta has one of the best teams I've seen in a long time, especially for a relatively new project.
Wow.
Yeah, someone in the chat room pointed out you can get it on Fork Delta, I think, as well. I said Gate.io because I find that to be very easy. Gate.io isn't as nearly as popular as Binance, but it's one of the easier exchanges to use. It's very quick and easy. So it's also on IDEX. It's on how do you say that? HUOBI, Huobi.
I just call it Huobi. Yeah.
Huobi. Is that a good one?
That's a Chinese what's it called, exchange. Huobi and IDEX I think might require KYC before you actually are on there.
IDEX?
Not IDEX, no.
Not IDEX.
No, IDEX is decentralized. Yeah.
IDEX decentralized. IDEX is like a fancier version of.
Yeah, it's like Etherdelta.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. So one thing with that we really want to be careful about. Okay, so this is how we get caught into the hodl trap.
Mm-hmm.
You know, by the hodl trader types.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, what's the timeline? Because we got all these great coins and my partnership with this company and that company, but then like nothing happens for 8 months.
Right.
Correct. And that's a great thing. That's why I stated that Q4 guys is when, for example, that 1-to-1 token transfer happens. They're going to be pushing for gaming industries to sort of utilize their service. That's Q4. That means that you're talking about the last 3 months of this year. So you got a good amount of time before that happens, guys. Before any real landmark happen.
No, but I want to really, really impress upon everybody on Earth that ever deals in cryptos is that 3 days is an eternity in the cryptoverse.
Yeah.
Okay, so I first got PPT. I think I bought it at I don't know, a couple of bucks or something, a little lower than that, but over time, in at least in ETH value, it actually tanked well below where I bought it. Now, Ethereum had gone up in dollars, and so in fiat, I was looking good, but I didn't care. I was more interested in building Ethereum, just like I do with Satoshi. Point is that, getting into these things this early, and then just I'm going to hodl it. Well, you know what? I don't. The only reason that I did okay doing that with PPT is because I swing traded PPT to build my bag. I didn't just buy it and hold it.
Correct.
So, okay, if you want to do a gem, a few $100 or $1,000, a very small percentage of your portfolio, you could throw it in. I could throw it in a Theta and just let it sit in case it blows up. But I'll probably be holding off and watching it.
The other thing that's, by the way, Nick, that's gold, man. Really helpful. Because I think a lot of us, our habit is good token. Okay, I'm going to buy a bunch, and then we watch our portfolio value diminished, and we get stressed out, and it can be stressful. And but one other thing I wanted to point out, they've got their total supply is, wait for it, 1 billion Theta tokens.
1 billion Theta tokens.
I'm hearing people say things like it's going to be $1,000 someday.
No, stop it. Stop it.
So you have to understand something. We've talked about this a number of times. The circulating supply is 588 million Theta. Okay. So, we see a token like, for example, Bitcoin, where are we today? 8,300 and change at the moment. There's only 26 million of those, and there's only something like 16 million circulating, and even less that are actually circulating, right? Correct. So you talk about the first sort of hair-raising thing I heard when I heard about Theta was people saying, "Oh, it's going to go to $1,000 or something like." I don't know where I heard that. I don't know who I heard. I really don't know. I'm not covering. I just remember hearing, "Oh, I heard it's going to go way, way, way up, like $1,000." There's a billion of them. What would that be? Would it be?
Yeah, I mean, you just
1,000 times a billion. Well, it's a.
It's 1,000 millions is a billion.
Huh?
1,000 millions is a billion.
Yeah, so 1,000 billions is a trillion.
Right. Trillion, yeah. So you'd have a $1 trillion company.
Yeah, $1 trillion company, guys. You just try to understand that's 3 times larger than the entire crypto space right now with Bitcoin and everything combined. So a lot of times people are like, no, it's gonna get to 1,000. For example, Sia Coin's gonna get to 100. Don't think so.
And what is the largest market cap company in the world right now? What is it worth? Let's see. We have
Well, what are some?
Maybe V could help us with this.
Well,
Top 10 U.S. companies by market cap.
What are some
Apple.
countries worth?
Yeah. So,
Apple, Amazon, Netflix, Google,
and what are their market caps?
Tesla. I mean, I think Apple's
I'll
like
look up-
what, 700 billion.
I'll look up Apple's market cap.
You know, these the stupid market caps. It's just so dumb. I mean, for Wall Street, that is. Those are fictitious market caps.
$884 billion. So
yeah,
so
for a company whose whole success is one device.
For Theta to go to $1,000 a token, it would have to be bigger than Apple. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah, and just and
bigger than U.S. oil. You know.
Yeah, like you can just compare it with like look at Twitch.tv's market cap, right? Twitch.tv's market cap, which is utilized in everyday use and so forth. And sort of gauge it on that. You can maybe say, hey, look, it's going to be a great competitor to Twitch. It's going to come 50-50 essentially. If it does really, really well, it'll be 50-50. And then you can kind of base its top market cap based on that. But just don't get carried away with this $1,000 Theta coin sort of situation.
Yeah, very yeah.
Everybody's looking for the next Bitcoin. Yeah. That's the thing. Everybody's just looking for the next Bitcoin, right? So
yeah, and you have to look at what something is and the limitations on it. And of course, you could have ludicrous, nonsensical trading happen that could pump it up to a ridiculous price. We've seen that with some of the things in the top 10, where they're trading so high it's almost ridiculous when you look at the total supply. So it's not like It doesn't happen. You do have people who just look at a token and think, oh, it's only $1, and what they don't realize is there's 10 billion of those tokens, whereas something like Ethereum there's like 90 million of them. So they're not comparing apples to apples.
Okay, let's there's another piece of news here that I just saw. It says U.S. Congress releases extraordinary report praising cryptocurrency and blockchain technology.
This is just new?
This is March 19th. It says, and this came out of the Daily Hodl. It says the U.S. Congress just released its massive joint report on the state of the economy, and for the first time, an entire chapter is dedicated to cryptocurrency.
Wow.
What's even more extraordinary are the number of bullish sentiments on the future of the emerging technology. Here's a look at some of the most interesting aspects of the new report. So it says here, kind of under the moniker of blockchain looks like the new internet. So the buzz surrounding, this is actually a quote from this report. It says, the buzz surrounding digital currencies resembles the internet excitement in the late 1990s when people recognized technology companies could change the world. Many internet companies launched and their valuations took off in short order. Many failed, but a few succeeded spectacularly and challenged the conventional ways of doing business. Okay, this is written by like people in our government, so it's getting a little interesting. I'm going to post this over in our channel, but some of the other headers are saying things like cryptocurrencies could outshine government fiat. Blockchain is secure and efficient. Blockchain may transform many industries. So all these positive comments tell me that, well, of course, the way that I think, the U.S. government has bought into a sufficient degree and is ready for cryptocurrencies to take off.
Wow.
So that's I'm going to go ahead and post this in our Watch This Trade channel news. So anyway, that's we have the G20, we have the United States government, we have what I think is a big fat buy signal, hopefully.
Indeed.
So are there any other
breaking news? Very cool.
Are there any other coins that we want to take a look at, or is there any pet coins that anybody in the chat wants to see, Z, like that you can see asking about?
Uh-oh, here it comes.
Oops.
Don't read the Brett's comment.
Obama wants to see something sort of a genital coin.
No, he just wants to see. Never mind, I'm not going to say it.
Someone sent me a present. I'm scared, but I know Martin, nice guy, so.
Oh yeah, Martin's cool. Yo, what's up, Martin? How you doing, buddy?
Yeah, Martin's in there. He's great.
Dude, Martin's killer. Martin sends me all these like updates on what he's doing, and Martin is actually quite amazing with his tech.
Nice.
Yeah, he's in it.
Any questions, folks? ZPE coin,
Yeah.
CE5 protocol, QAnon, ZPE coin.
What?
I don't know.
That's the name. That's the name of the person. So it's ZPE coin.
ZPE coin. I don't know anything about ZPE coin.
Yeah, what exchange is it on?
Bought the ICO coins arrive on paper wallet April 1st. It could be a joke, man. It's an April 1st. You might not be getting anything, bro. You might not be getting anything.
What,
The one thing,
I missed the joke.
No. ZPE coin's legitimate, but the one thing that kind of gets me a little freaked out about ZPE coin is first off their website. Their website looks not so good.
Really?
I'm just laughing because it's such a funny thing, but it's so true, right?
I mean, little things like that. You're a huge tech company. You better have a killer website.
ZPE coin. What's ZPE coin? Something for the energy sector. Interesting.
Someone asked for ADA. ADA.
Yeah, I could even look at it on the chart because
let's check out
ADA has like nothing happening in the real world, but we can at least see how it's charting.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what's a little bit scary about ZPE coin too is that it only raised $133,000.
Ooh, yeah.
That's huge.
What? And it's ICO?
Our pre-token round began on November 18th with the goal of raising $100,000 to fund startup operations. So this is a complete startup.
So basically to build the website.
Yeah, it ended with $133,000.
That's why you're gonna get your coin in a paper wallet on April the 1st.
Just be careful with these kind of things, guys. ICOs. Everybody always asks me about ICOs. Like ICOs are great, guys. There are definitely some ICOs out there that are killer. But like 95% of ICOs are like just garbage, And I think there was a statistic: 45% of ICOs since 2017 have already like pretty much died off.
Yeah, 99% of ICOs are crap.
They are. It's a money making scheme right now of people trying to fund their startups, and their startups could be like absolutely nothing.
Their startups they're paying off their mortgage and buying a Ferrari. That's their startup.
Just look at ZP's website, like the technology side of it. I mean, these are just like, this guy took a photo with his like old 2013 like camera. It doesn't even look good.
What's the website? Because now I'm dying to see it.
You can go on gaea.company/technology. It just doesn't look good. These are like photos of like it just looks junky.
Oh, look at
I'm reading their white paper right now.
What is this?
CalMag is a Project Theta product.
Am I looking at the right site, guys?
Yeah, it's Gaia.company / is that what it is?
Gaia? Yeah, I brought it up on the screen, guys.
Yeah, that's it. That's the one.
Oh, it's a 0 point energy deal.
Yeah, I mean, I always tell everybody, guys, there is a couple of coins out there that deal with the energy industry. One of them is Restart, that is very promising in Europe. There's one, Power Ledger, very promising in Australia. But remember, guys, that the energy sector in this world is probably the biggest industry, I would say, out of all of the biggest moguls, right?
Yeah.
Right? Is energy the biggest, or medical, or?
No, energy is the biggest, over 400 trillion.
Yeah, so energy is just, energy takes the cake, guys. You're talking about one of the oldest sort of industries, right? For any of these companies that think they're going to revolutionize energy and that they're going to, change the world, and it's very difficult. There's a lot of red tape, and there's a lot of bad guys behind the scenes that probably won't let them. So
they will kill you.
Yeah, so just kind of take that with a grain of salt, right? I think that's the whole Tesla thing. back in the day.
No, I look at these energy companies, or telecom is a massive business. Medical is a massive business, and so when I look at anything or banking, when I look at anything that wants to disrupt that, I'll take a look at the energy one, and I'll say, okay, if I see a decent coin, it's not worth a small bet. Maybe put a jewel away. I think that the developing nations, these larger energy companies, haven't gone into them. There are areas where, maybe it's just not that accessible. It's not that profitable. And so I think as the world kind of develops, for example, Substratum is a coin that I think does have a future. Now, telecom is a massive business, hard to break into, but you have a lot of countries where, there's just not really any access for that kind of thing. So building their own local internet is actually very feasible. And I think that something like Substratum, or even Power Ledger, which is decentralized power grid energy business, I think those might have a place in the third world, and then maybe slowly growing and adopting. But I don't think we're going to see this big, massive revolution, and everything is going to be the decentralized internet and all this. And no, it's not quite. Over time, maybe.
Not yet.
Over time.
Not yet. Not yet.
Oh, you were gonna take a look at Ada for us?
Oh yeah.
And then we
Ada.
should probably shut it down because I
Ada,
gotta get moving myself. So
Ada looks like everything else right now.
Yeah.
Most of your graphs, what you're seeing right there is this kind of a long dump into a bottom, and then some volume here, and then you're going to go up through the cloud. I mean, that's like all the coins right now. And that's just a function of Bitcoin and the good news. And then Bitcoin rose, and so you have this kind of a little bit further of a dumping, and then Bitcoin stalled, and people took profits, put it into alts. And, so that's what we're looking at. And, so ADA doesn't look like anything special. I know Vibe blew up this morning. Vibe tends to blow up. Vibe is that music one, right?
Yeah.
Vibe, not Vibrate, but the other one. I think it's just called Vibe.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, Vibe blew up. It's up massively, like 70%. But Z is prescient enough and experienced enough, as I am, to understand that in this part of the game, taking profits is key. In any part of the game is key, right? But people want to maximize the profits. Oh, I got to hold on for a little bit longer. I can make a bit more. Well, no, if Bitcoin decides to run hard and you haven't taken profit, then there's no more profit to take. So
yeah, don't be greedy. I think a lot of people that come into this sector, yes, of course you can make those crazy gains, and that's what we're here for. But at the same time, understand that, if you make 40% in one day, I mean, that's ridiculous. If you made 40% in one day, you would be like you'd be a top position at Goldman Sachs, guys.
Yeah, if you could take 5% a day on your investment every day, you're a millionaire in a short amount of time. That's the thing. People don't understand. If you can just conservatively build your book on small percentages that you can definitely get, and just take profit, you can do well like that. I have a combination where I have a portion of my book where I do that, and I have another portion that I risk a little bit more. So anyway, taking profit is what are you going to say, V? What do you say about taking profit?
You never can go broke taking profits.
Indeed.
So that's the message I got.
Absolutely.
Correct.
Cool.
All right, gents, 10 seconds. Closing comments. Z, go ahead, sir.
All right, guys. Well, thanks so much for tuning in. If you guys are interested in the trading room as well as the trading school, check out this link in the description. It's thecryptoschool.io. It's in the description. We're in there all the time. Happy to help out. And yeah, I think right now we're in a very good position right now with cryptocurrencies, and I think this is a great time to get in, guys. I think you guys can learn a lot, and hopefully you guys can profit a lot from our entertainment.
Yes, that's pretty much. The market looks good right now. It looks like we might see an upswing. All the governments, everybody seems to be bullish on crypto all around. So it's www.thecryptoschool.com. Description is in the YouTube.
.io.
.io.
It's in the description.
It's in the description. www.thecryptoschool.io. I put it up on the screen so everybody can see. And thank you guys for listening to us once again.
Yeah, thanks everybody. This is Frank. So 2 things I want to emphasize. We have 6 coins, 6 coins with Crypto Z, a fundamental analysis of up and coming projects. That is on the cryptoschool.io for members of the cryptoschool.io, which is of course separate from our trade room. Those are 2 different products, and you need both of them. They're well worth your hard-earned money, and they're getting better by the day. I mean, it's just amazing what these guys have done in a bear market. So imagine what you'll learn from them and how entertaining it will be when we're in a bull market. One last thing I wanted to say. We got about, I don't know, 25 days or so to get your first month at half off for the Watch Us Trade Room. So our last show we did together, well, the one before the Cliff High show, also go back and watch the show with Cliff High. That was awesome. But our last show before that, we told people it was the last chance to get 2 months at half off. Well, the next few weeks, about 25 days or so left, is your last chance to get into the Watch Us Trade Room at only $149. And then when it renews, it will be at the real price. So to get at least your first month at the introductory pricing, you need to sign up right away. That window is closing very quickly. So get your first month in before the price goes up, and you won't regret it.
Absolutely. With that being said, folks, I am the Gorilla, and these are the crew from the Remaining Calm, the Crypto School. I want to thank all of you all for listening. Hit the subscribe button, smash the thumbs up button, leave a comment. And again, don't sit there hodling and putting your hands in somebody else's destiny, leaving your destiny in somebody else's hands. Wow.
Don't be an ostrich. Don't be an ostrich.
Don't touch me.
Don't be an ostrich. Don't put your head in the sand, guys.
One more BB touch. One time BB touch.
I do not consent to this touch.
I went into Bill Clinton's office and he put his hands in my destiny.
Oh my God, I'm losing it. Don't put your hands in someone else's destiny. Anyway, guys, don't leave your destiny in someone else's hands, and learn how the whole game is played. Check out Z and Cowboy over at the trading room. It's important. You've been given a printing press. Take advantage of it. It's the only time that you yourself can have the benefits of being a central banker without being a central banker. And with that being said, we are over and we're out.